It's Kina Knisley. I'm in Honolulu, Hawaii with Keller Williams Honolulu. And this is Real Talk About Real Estate. And I am with Ken Girty from Pittsburgh. Ken is absolutely my favorite. I will tell you, he is my son's best friend. So I've known him for a while. But he's an awesome agent. Number two in his office for
Yep.
2024. So, Ken, how is the market in Pittsburgh?
The market here has been crazy since it started to actually physically warm up. I know you don't have the particular problem of seasons, but as soon as the snow melts and it starts to warm, everybody wants to get outside. Everybody wants to start looking. So right now we went down in inventory by about 17% the first week in March, just because
Wow.
everybody was going like, all right, it's time. This is when we're doing this. And it's still a crazy situation.
So that is awesome. So what's your average price point in Pittsburgh? If I want to come by, I know you do have single family homes and then you have those beautiful
Yeah.
brick homes. I
Yes.
know they have a name. So what's the average price point for
Average
yeah.
The average price point for Allegheny County, which is considered, the greater Pittsburgh area, is about 330,000.
Wow. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a great starter home price. That
That
here won't get you anything. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um, but wow. So who's moving to Pittsburgh? Who's buying right now in Pittsburgh?
So there's a lot of people that are coming in for mainly three reasons. Is one is because of our medical industry. We have two major players here in Pittsburgh, UPMC and Allegheny Health Network. Pittsburgh sort of gets slept on nationally, but we have one of the best hospitals or hospital networks in the country. We're credited to having like the first transplant was developed here or done here in Pittsburgh, and we've had a ton of hospitals open up year over year. So that brings in a lot of medical staff and support staff that, needs to fuel those. So people come all across the country, to go and work at these different facilities. That's number one. Number two is tech. We've had a huge technology boom with Uber being headquartered here, Google, IBM, Carnegie Mellon University. We have all these different AI startups, all these different robotic and tech startups. And for that matter, too, a lot of other companies have brought their headquarters here to Pittsburgh as well, because as we just sort of saw, the cost of living here is much lower and much more affordable than like Chicago, New York, the Bay Area. So a lot of people have been coming here recently. And then number three is because of all the education. We have Carnegie Mellon University, University of Pittsburgh, Duquesne University, and all these other smaller universities as well. They've been expanding. They've been opening up more campuses, more satellite campuses. So people, all these different professors, support staff all come here. And then that brings the student population that, the student population, they'll graduate here and then they start to have a network here. So they'll be like, okay, I'll start my life here in Pittsburgh because just out of convenience sake. So we have a lot of people coming here.
Oh, that's great. So yeah, I do know you have one of the best like kidney transplant hospitals, right?
Yeah, we do. One
So
of the nationally recognized transplant organizations here, kidney and otherwise for that matter. Yeah.
yeah. So my family members have given away body parts. That's how I know. But it's okay. They're doing good things. So what if I want to invest? How's the long-term, midterm, short-term rental market for Pittsburgh? Is it a good place to invest?
Yeah, it's aggressively good. And that is for better or for the worse, depending on who you ask here in Pittsburgh, specifically on the locals, right? Because for the short term, you have a huge student population. So people at the University of Pittsburgh, Duquesne, Point Park, La Roche, which are all in the centralized area of Pittsburgh, they have a bunch of year-long rentals in the student population, right? So that's one model. Number two is the long term as well. So like I said before, a lot of people that they want to start their lives here in Pittsburgh, they don't necessarily want to dedicate, buying a house, but they go, okay, I'm going to be here for a couple years, get experience, and then maybe leave. So you'll have, really good year-long ones. But then also what's been coming up recently in the past several years are the midterm rentals. So as I mentioned before, our hospital network, that has come with a bunch of traveling nurses and stuff like that, who they're only in for a contracted period of time. So, 6 months ish. and then they go on to the next city or next hospital. So there's a lot of opportunity for that as well. There's certain neighborhoods that are almost like dedicated specifically for midterm rentals because they're in proximity to the hospital. And yeah, they have no problem being rented out.
Wow. So that's awesome because,
Yeah.
I love rentals. And right now, rentals are definitely better than keeping your money in the stock market.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah. So what's really fun to do in Pittsburgh?
So a lot of people come here, even on just like a weekend trip or something like that, because we're a huge, huge sports town, you know? So we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, we have the Penguins, we have the Pirates, they're a little bit shaky as far as, how good they are, but it's still one of the best ballparks in the
I'm
world.
gonna get beat up for that comment. Just, make comments on my YouTube because you just beat up the Pirates or the Penguins.
No, the Penguins are great. The Pirates are the ones that it's no
Oh,
secret. It's nationally or it's in the MLB one of the worst teams, but it's one of the most beautiful ballparks voted for. But yeah, like we have all that. We have University of Pittsburgh that as well that plays and they're a very well national team or a very recognized team. So especially too when it starts to warm up, like around now, we have a bunch centers for like arts and culture. So we have all these different music festivals, art festivals, huge musical theater presence here as well. Symphony is outstanding. So a lot of people will come in for like these really specific events, and then for that matter too, anything that you want to possibly get into. Like we have classic cars, a big presence with that. We actually have a classic car race here through Shenley Park, which is in downtown. That's a huge, big drawing for people as well. Anything that you really are into, Pittsburgh has. We don't really have like a niche for anything, any particular interest. Instead, we have a little bit something for everybody, which is really cool.
so yeah, I know you have some great museums because you have Andy
Yep.
Warhol and then what is it? The Natural History Museum with the big dinosaurs,
So
right?
The Carnegie Museum Network, yeah. So Anne Carnegie donated millions upon millions of dollars in different facilities, and still that organization continues to run the big museum network. So, yeah, we have some of the best museums. I'd say probably second to the Smithsonian, of all the different like if you're into the natural history, if you're into the sciences, anything like that, the arts, we have everything pretty much here for you. The mattress factory as well, which is not actually a mattress factory. It's a whole interactive display, really cool. And then we even have like the Children's Art Museum as well. Like it's literally one of the only ones I think in the country that's designed completely for kids in mind. So really cool. Even the sports museum too. Yeah, anything. Sorry, the more I'm talking about, I'm like, yeah, we do have a lot of museums here.
Yeah, because every time I come to visit. So, and then
Mhm.
what about the food scene? Let's talk about the food.
The food scene. So yeah, actually, we have our food is generally influenced by Eastern Europe, right? So we have a lot of Polish people from here, a lot of Russian, German, and whatnot. And then recently, a James Beard semifinalist opened up a restaurant here in Pittsburgh recently. It's Nordic themed. I cannot remember. This is killing me that I cannot remember what it's named off the top of my head, but it's in Bloomfield, right on Liberty Avenue. And they have things like whole fish that you can get, and all these other different, very specific to, like I said, the Nordic region in Sweden. You won't get anything else like it in the city, and it's absolutely phenomenal.
Well, we're gonna let you make the reservations for that.
Yes,
We're not
absolutely.
going
Next
to
time that you're
depend
in.
on the son that will not be named because he's not
No, no.
making our reservations, Ken. So, uh,
But that and Italian as well. Huge Italian scene too. We have Pittsburgh's Little Italy. A lot of Italian immigrants came in as well, and it does not disappoint. We have a bunch of Italian restaurants here in Pittsburgh, so really cool.
yeah. So now, do you service just downtown Pittsburgh, or will you go to the outlying areas?
I will go as far as my MLS will take me. So not just the downtown area, but pretty much an hour and a half anywhere outside of the city. I'm a big supporter of, hey, if you want to choose me as your agent, I take that as a big compliment, and I'm going to help serve you the best way or shape or form I can. It does not matter if you're an hour away, or right downtown. I'll go for it as long as it's in my serviceable MLS area. If not, then we have a conversation. Then I can definitely find you a rock star agent that does.
Because I know we've gone, there's a lot of Amish communities.
Yeah.
We did some little cookie crawl. I think it was around
Yep.
Halloween. It was super fun to this little artsy, gift shoppy town, and they gave us a cookie at every store. So
Yeah.
it was super fun. I want to come back and do
No,
that. Remember the
I,
name of the town, but
That was one of a few different places. We have a very large Amish presence in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. So yeah, I serve Amish country anywhere pretty much. I will go to the Ohio border, which is west, and the West Virginia border, which is south, and then north and east as far as my MLS will take me. So
Oh,
I go all over the place. My car gets a lot of miles.
yeah. So is there anything you want everyone to know about Pittsburgh and the surrounding area?
I'll tell you what, so a lot of the clients that come here to relocate, some of them are a little bit hesitant, they come because of, the economic value or because they're like, hey, it's not, filled with hurricanes and earthquakes and tornadoes. We don't have particularly a lot of natural disasters, right? So they'll move here because of those. And they go, man, this place really does feel like home after a while. We're a big, small town, is the way I like to say it. The national average, according to the National Association of Realtors, is that somebody will live in their home 5 to 7 years and then switch. Here in Pittsburgh, it's 16 years is the average. So whenever you start to be like, hey, I know somebody here in Pittsburgh, it's crazy. Like everybody sort of knows everyone, you start to really feel like a history. A lot of people's families go back, generations upon generations. Mine goes from as late as the early 1900s to as far back as the 1700s. And that's not uncommon for a lot of families here. It's really a unique experience.
Yeah. So are you having a lot of new development then, since people won't get out of their houses? You're having new
Yes.
ones? So
So we've had such a boom in new construction outside of the Pittsburgh area because with so many investor heavy and our population has really grown a lot in the area at large. So a lot of these farms and stuff like that, they are starting to sell to developers. So we're having a ton of new construction, anywhere from like the 300s all the way to like the $1.5 million range and everything in between. And we have some of like the national biggest new construction firms here, like Miranda, Ryan Homes, Infinity, Wayne, Shoemaker, are all these really big developers that they will go and do multi-hundred unit complexes here.
that's amazing. All right.
Hmm.
Well, thank you so much. So this has been Ken Girty from Pittsburgh. So if you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest in Pittsburgh or the surrounding areas, just let me know. We can get connected. This has been Kina Knisley. I'm in Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm with Team K Squared to Keller Williams. And this has been Real Talk About Real Estate. See you soon.
See ya.